Good morning, Chair Peterson. Good morning, Vice Chair Dinger. Good morning, Ranking Member Patton. We're here this morning. I'm testifying on behalf of the Washington Build Back Black Alliance, in particular, the Tacoma Pierce County Black Collective, a storied civil rights organization that has met every single Saturday for 51 years. We're testifying in strong support of this legislation, and I want to be clear, we are not anti-police. We are not anti-law enforcement. We are pro-humanity. And we're pro-Washingtonian lives, Black lives, Indigenous lives, Asian lives, lives that belong to families of communities of color that you've heard from this morning. There is a lot of good things in House Bill 1054. I want to thank Representative Johnson and everyone for bringing this bill. And I don't believe by limiting some of these tactics that we have seen used to kill young Black men and women, that we will make law enforcement less safe. I have law enforcement and military people in my family. Every member of my family since the Civil War has served the United States in combat. It is those voices that I've been listening to for a period of years that have told me we need to stop treating our streets as though they're war zones. So this morning, I want to show you this picture. This is Trayvon Benjamin Martin. My family lived in the gated community where Trayvon was killed on February the 26th of 2012. We believe that had something like this been enacted in Florida, we could have saved his life. So this morning, I want to end my testimony by saying his name, Trayvon Benjamin Martin. And with that, I ask you for your favorable support and a due pass recommendation for House Bill 1054. Thank you.
Members of committee. For the record, this is Representative Jesse Johnson from the 30th District. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Manny Ellis. With the provisions in the underlying bill before you, these three individuals and so many others may still very well be alive today. I want to begin by saying that we value and appreciate our peace officers for their selfless work that they do in our communities to make us safe. However, we have witnessed the evidence of unnecessary police violence and tactics that have produced negative outcomes, predominantly for communities of color. And last summer, we saw thousands of our fellow community members all united in an incredible show of solidarity, demanding for change. While Black and brown communities have sounded this alarm for decades, we now have a mandate to ban or restrict the tactics that do not uphold that value. Tactics like chokeholds and neck restraints that the data shows is inconsistently trained on and disproportionately used against our Black community. Tactics that are rooted in racism like no-knock warrants and put both the community and officers in harm's way. Furthermore, different standards across our state lead to confusion and sows more distrust in the system. This legislation fixes two problems. It sets a baseline standard for acceptable police tactics and equipment that can and should be used, and it bans or at least restricts harmful tactics. And it also helps us to begin the difficult and sometimes daunting process of rebuilding trust between law enforcement and communities of color. I want to thank the organizers, the advocates, and the law enforcement that helped to craft this legislation. But most importantly, I want to thank the families impacted by police violence, families that have suffered unimaginable suffering and pain, and you'll hear their stories this morning. I'm so grateful for each of you who stepped up to have these difficult conversations and all the stakeholdering that went into this bill so that we can deliver on true public safety that is equitable and just. Thank you so much for the time.